Hello and welcome to this, the third round of our OPL Finals Gauntlet. My name is Michael Hingersing and thank you for joining us on a day which will be some special League of Legends because Sin have already fought their way through Avant-Garde, through the Chiefs, and now they face second place Team Legacy before one of these teams goes on to take on the Direwolves. It's a best of 5 today, and for those of you who are just joining us today, you may not know much about Legacy. So earlier this week we spoke to them, and here's a little message they prepared.
The only position we'd be satisfied finishing in is first.
I think it'll be a lot closer than other years. This is definitely one of the most exciting OPL splits so far, but our overall goal is to definitely win in a head-to-head MSI.
We will absolutely not be satisfied with anything other than first. At the start of the split, we weren't really expecting to do super well. You know, we had a lot of new team members, but kind of the way that the roster's worked out and the talent that we've somehow managed to pick up, I think we've overperformed.
And this is going to be Legacy picking up a clean 2-0 against the Chiefs.
Look at the smile on Carbon's face. He's all pumped up, and they deserve it. I mean, they schooled Chiefs in Game 2.
After we beat the Chiefs, we kind of realised that first was ours and no one could take it away from us anymore, only we could drop it. And then we did drop it.
Do anything because the Nexus has gone. Sin have done it 2 times in a row. They've taken down Legacy, but this time it's a 2-0 spawn.
I think our toughest opponents in the Gauntlet, to be fair, is probably Sin.
I don't want to say good things about them. They destroyed us twice, but they are the dark horse of the OPL.
I would prefer the Chiefs to win over Sin. I like playing against the Chiefs. It's a fun challenge. I like playing against those guys. And I think having another opportunity to beat them would be, I would really enjoy that.
So for the Direwolves to split, they're definitely the scariest. Coming into the year, they picked up a big sponsor. They got really hyped up. They took King from Legacy. And I feel like Direwolves as a whole squad, they come together really well.
I'd say the Direwolves, they obviously have a lot of belief in themselves. They've always been a very arrogant bunch of people. We've beaten them in the best of 3 format, and if we make it to the finals, we'll beat them in the best of 5 format easily.
You know, the opportunity to represent Oceania is the big reason that I still play.
For me to win an OPL split, it would basically be like fulfilling my dreams, because I've always wanted to play on the international stage. Esports is my dream. I put my career here, so I really want to go further than Oceania.
I plan to give up the whole year for this, and just fresh out of high school, to represent the whole region, that would be freaking awesome.
Well, it may be freaking awesome for Lost to be able to represent Australia and Oceania at Worlds, at MSI potentially, but they still have to get through Sin, who have already, as I said before, beaten Chiefs, beaten Avant-Garde, and yeah. Who will win today? Let's introduce our panel of experts here on the analyst desk. So first, we have support player for the Chiefs, Ejim. We also have Coach Jish, support coach for Immortals in the North American region, and our in-house OPL analyst, Nathan Mendrix-Mendez. How y'all doing? Ejim, unlucky loss for you guys yesterday from the Chiefs.
Unlucky, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a few you guys tweeting out, look, we've let ourselves down, but really, you saw Carbon there, you've let him down. He wanted another chance to beat you all, didn't even give it to it.
I feel like saying another chance for Legacy to beat Chiefs is, like, has that happened that often? Like, I feel like you can't really say that, right?
And Jish, you're spending some time in the off-season over here in Australia, back from North America. How was your split over there?
My split was really good. We decided as a team that we would just intentionally come 7th so we could have an extended break and just completely miss out on playoffs and stuff. So, yeah, no, just enjoying the sun in Australia, really.
And finally, Mendrix, this is day 3 of this gauntlet. How are you feeling? Are you exhausted? We've had 2 best of 5s, and who knows what today has in store.
I'm reinvigorated. I can't wait for these games. Oh, we're discussing, is this the point that the glass slipper is coming on for the story for the Cinderella guys? Or is it...
The Cinderella guys.
Or is it, oh yeah, you could say, or is it really going to be, you know, the pumpkin is just about to be disappearing?
We talked about this earlier. I don't really remember much of the Cinderella story. Like, anyway, look, because the guy, he just has the slipper, and he just imagine having a shoe of a woman who you've met once, and you go to a house, you're like, hey, is this your shoe? You get the, anyway, all right. Let's take a look at our lineup, shall we? Because this is all about League of Legends. This is Legacy getting ready in their room. And let's take a look at their roster, shall we? Their top laner and vice captain is Tally. Their jungler and captain is Carbon. Claire is their mid laner, who spent a bit of time in Japan last year. Lost is their AD carry, and Cupcake is their rookie support player and former professional tennis player, I'm told, Egypt.
Yeah, well, I don't know much about that. I just want to say Tim Carbon feels like he's getting real up close and personal with the camera there. Everyone's kind of sitting back and he's just got his noggin like right up in there. I respect that. I'm a big forehead into the camera fan.
Well, Legacy's opponents have beaten them twice in the regular split of the OPL already this year, but can they best them today? Let's take a look at their opponents, Sin, shall we, getting ready in their side of the studios. And for the third time this gauntlet, let's go through their lineup, shall we? Their top laner is the NA import Flares. It's been popping off on Game 5 Fizzes lately. Juves is their captain and jungler. And their mid laner is Ryoma, former Chief sub. Maybe he helped them out with some secret inside goss yesterday.
Yeah.
Their AD carry is FBI. And their support play is Rogue there. Looking more relaxed than usual. Fewer finger guns than we've come to expect from the young Rogue.
He's just warming them up. He's got the hand warmers. Getting them ready.
All right, well, we do need to get into Game 1 as quickly as possible. So, gentlemen, I want to get your predictions. And let me start with you, E-Jim. I mean, is Sin going to continue this? Are they going to go all the way?
Well, watching the video with Legacy before this, I think Claire kind of summed up like how I feel about the situation. Like, preface this, but I just lost to Sin, right? But like, Claire's like, I don't want to say nice things about Sin. Like, Sin shouldn't, in my eyes, be beating the Chiefs, shouldn't be beating the Legacy in the regular split, shouldn't be beating Direwolves. So coming into today, like maybe like they've got the momentum coming from the 2 best-of-5s versus us and AV. I think maybe they take a map, so I'll give them the first map, and I think Legacy will clean it up after that, and so probably 3-1.
3-1 to Legacy.
Yeah.
All right, then, Jesh, is momentum, I mean, are they carrying through? I mean, Legacy have been able to watch 10 games professionally of Sin right now. Is that enough for them to unlock this this little conundrum?
Yeah, I feel like the momentum thing won't play a very big part. I think prefacing this with Chiefs lost to Sin, but I think that it's going to be like a pretty clean 3-0, and that Sin will look pretty bad.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Mendrix, a lot of Legacy fans here on the desk. You've previously picked Legacy to beat Sin and been wrong twice already. So, who's it going to be this beautiful day?
So Sin have proven me wrong twice. I think the Desk underestimates the dark horse factor. They're going to be pushing Legacy to a 5 series, and they're going to be kicking and screaming the entire time.
All right. So, but
Sin wins.
Sin win it. All right. Well, the desk is divided. Let's see if Sin can continue their winning run through the gauntlet. It is time for us to get into Champions League with Game 1. So let's throw it to your casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thank you very much, Higgins. I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is Jake Spontaber. We're about to get into our third match of this gauntlet split, which is going to be Legacy taking on Sin.
Yeah, and this is an exciting one. I just do want to correct Higgins a little bit. I'm pretty sure if Loss represents us at MSI, he's representing New Zealand, not Australia. That's where he went to high school and was born. Pretty sure Cupcake would want a piece of the New Zealand action as well. Of course, they are the Kiwi bottom lane over there for Legacy, and that's where I want to start off, Fish, because Claire lost Cupcake, technically 3 rookies on the bottom side of the map for Legacy. When they came in, so untested on LAN, no one really expected all that much out of Legacy for this season. We thought it was going to be rebuilding. However, they have come together much better than we expected. Cupcake on XL5 wasn't a standout player, but all of a sudden is carrying from that support position, and Sin have to pay great respect to Legacy's bottom side of the map.
They certainly do. FBI and Rogue have been standing up very well for themselves. They were key factors to both their victories over Ivanka.
They solo killed the guy on the desk. Sorry, Egypt, not Tally. How are they going to do that?
So they've been big factors for Sin. Legacy will definitely have to step up the game in the bottom lane, although they've done it the entire split. Now what I really want to see, is Claire going to go back to the form he had when he first started in the OPL, or is it going to be form we had when we saw him play the last few games he had in the OPL?
Because it is nervous jitters. We know that out of Claire. Does not like the stage all that much, so I agree with you. Needs to have some good performances here. However, we are already all through the bans.
That's right. Ivan being banned out, taken away from Carbon. Brom being taken away by Cupcake, 2 very targeted bans. Vladimir being taken off the bench as well. That's one of Ryoma's picks, even though it's banned out by Sin. Rumble, Fizz, and Thresh all banned out by Legacy. 3 target bans from both these teams.
Yeah, exactly right. And straight away, Syndra locked in for Ryoma. We saw how much priority they were giving it. Chiefs didn't have an answer yesterday, apart from banning it out. I think Claire needs to priority pick whatever he wants to play in it. We saw the flash of the Aurelion Soul. We know Talia is okay into it. We know that Ari beats it. Want to see maybe a LeBlanc matchup, although historically it has been quite bad. We'll see what Claire wants to pull out. I just don't feel like you can leave it to the second rotation, because then they start banning out your counters.
But Legacy, they've locked in Ezreal as their AD carry pick of choice for Lost. Lee Sin locked in, and LeBlanc being picked up here by Claire.
Yeah, and a little bit of inside information. Ejim said that Claire, one trick in LeBlanc at the moment, going the Gunblade build. We'll see whether he does continue with that. It's a lot of burst damage coming out of the revolver and some good sustain as the game progresses, because if you chunk someone out, you get all that health back.
For the son of Sin, Juice has gone back to his Elise, one of his default junglers. We've seen him played a lot during the Avant-Garde match as well as the Chiefs match, and Rogue will be picking up Zyra again. It's one of his powerhouse supports.
And really interesting here is, does Cupcake have something in store for the Zyra? Because she's very squishy. We've seen Misfortune in the past. We know that Lulu is good at the moment into the Zyra, but you know, he plays Brand. He plays very unorthodox supports down there sometimes, Cupcake, and that can be a sitting duck. If you can get aggressive in a Zyra lane, you can kill her multiple times.
The final two bans, I should say, that come out from Legacy are going to be Poppy as well as Ashe. Sin, they've banned out Karma. They don't want Cupcake on that champion. And Misfortune is the final ban. That does leave Malzahar open.
Malzahar open. Lulu is up and available if they want to play Ezreal Lulu, which is such an annoying combo. Also means that not going to be something, well, they don't have to worry about it anyway, really, because the Zyra is on the other side.
And Lulu is Legacy's support pick of choice for Cupcake.
And in a Bizarro world, we're seeing Lulu for Sin slip so far down the pick ban priority, where for the Chiefs it was very high. AV, not really all that much. They prefer the Nami, but Legacy showing that they also share the support pick that around the world seems to be the most popular.
It certainly is, but Sin have rounded out their team comp with Renekton in the top lane for Flares, and FBI picking up Caitlyn over Varus, over Ashe.
Well, Ashe is banned, so can't take that one. But that's really strange for me, because everyone else comes online 1-2 items. Apart from FBI, he needs to wait for 3. He needs to wait for 4, because he's not going to have anyone augmenting that attack speed. Of course, Caitlyn, no steroids in her kit, apart from the headshots. So I find that's a very strange pickup.
Ooh, and the final pick for Tally is going to be Camille. We've seen him carry quite a few games on this champion. And now he's going to try and take it to Flares on Renekton in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's not a horrible matchup for the Camille. She can take Sweep, get through the laning phase quite okay by maxing that one out. And then late game, as you said, just becomes a far superior split pusher. Also can be a legitimate assassination onto the likes of Syndra. So we'll see whether that is the way the game plays out. However, Elise, Renekton, Syndra, top side of the map is so much pressure for Sin Gaming. And we'll see whether they can continue that momentum. Jish doesn't think it's going to be a factor. EGM said they'll get a game off the back of it. However, the team comp put together one more time by Legacy, Soul Strikes has definitely done a good job. And you can see in the background shouting his last couple of commands to his team.
Yep. Legacy, they do have a strong side of the top side, very mumbling words here. The top side of the map for Legacy is very strong as well, with that Camille, Lee Sin, and LeBlanc. Claire picking up this champion, which has been nerfed quite heavily, and only a couple of players left in the OPL like to prioritize this pick.
Yeah, exactly right, but we know that Claire is one of them, and I don't think it's going to be only you with a voice today, Fish, because I can already feel mine going. But LeBlanc is still scary. I mean, we took a lot of the initial burst away, but as the levels get up there, as the passive starts taking over, is still a very strong combo mage. So I don't think that Claire is going to worry about the nerfs all that much. Also does some creative things. I watch him in solo queue a fair bit with his clone as he ducks into Fog of War when he's about to recall. So he's quite a smart player like that.
He's one of the first players we've actually seen use the clone in a proactive way. Other players use it to scout out the map, you know, kind of check some Fog of War vision. He's used it very proactively to try and cheat some ganks in with his jungler.
Yeah, certainly has. And there's nothing better than, you know, just ducking back into Fog of War, sending one bottom over a ward, and then actually heading top yourself. So I think that, you know, we'll see whether he does have some of that mind games going into the first game.
Well, let's see what Legacy are going to pull out here, because Sin, they're on fire right now. They've played 10 games this week already, battled through Avant-Garde and the Chiefs to get to the third match of the Gauntlet, but they're not done yet. They're looking to see if they can take on the Direwolves in the grand finals. And for now, let's check in with Soul Strikes, who's the coach of Legacy.
Thank you, Fish. I'm here with Soul Strikes. I want to ask about this mid lane pick for you, because you banned out Fizz, you banned out Thresh, but you didn't ban out Syndra. So why ban Rumble and not Syndra?
Because we thought we have a counter ready for Syndra, so we think LeBlanc does pretty well, and it's really a skill matchup, but we believe Brandon can pop off in that matchup and pressure Tommy off from. And
so you think Claire over Ioma, mid lane LeBlanc into Syndra?
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of his comfort pick at the moment.
Excellent stuff. All right, well, we'll see how it plays out. Thank you for speaking to us, and best of luck in the game.
Thank you.
There you go, hearing from Soul Strikes there. Very comfortable in Claire taking the skill-based matchup and winning it in the mid lane. Triple was able to take it to Ryoma, but Ryoma absolutely stomped on Swiffer in a couple of those games.
Couple of games. Swiffer got his due back in a couple of Talia games as well. One thing that I'll say about Ryoma is he seems to be very good when he's up and firing, but as a lot of rookies, if he falls behind, does seem a little bit lost in the macro rotation.
And that kind of rings true for Claire as well.
Yep.
Seems like that's been his split so far, so whoever gets ahead in this lane might just stay ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. And in Assassin versus Assassin matchup, and you know, we try and say that Syndra has a little bit more control aspect to it. Not anymore. I mean, she's even going for second item loot and echo and things like that. She's just an outright burst mage. So see whether...
That was very cheeky from FBI. Last hitting with the Warlords and getting the passive proc of headshot on towards the Ezreal. One interesting thing from Sin was they were able to kind of push out this, get up close into this lane nice and early. Rogue was able to get a lot of plants down. They got that due to the help from Flares and Ryoma, who rotated down early, pushing Cupcake and lost back. But mid lane Claire, he's only level 1 against a level 2 Syndra, still trading effectively, dodging a lot of the spheres, but the Thunderlord's proc still comes out from auto attacks.
Yeah, it certainly does, but still they're relatively even in HP, and Claire actually has the lane in a better position right now. You can see that Ryoma very wary of where Carbon can be ganking from. However, now Rogue ducking into the jungle for a quick, cheeky ward onto the blue buff. They should be aware of that.
But mid lane, again, Ryoma and Claire going at it. There is Ignite ticking, the flash forward, first blood by Ryoma, but they trade back and forth.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see that Claire tried to go for a cheeky flash to dodge out on one of the spheres, but he kind of shorted it a little bit. I think that was a bit more panic than he would have liked in his gameplay at this stage.
So now it's really going to be which way is that wave pushing. If it's pushing back towards Ryoma, he gets a massive advantage. 100 extra gold, a wave pushing in towards him. He's going to be very happy with that trade.
Yeah, certainly should be. And you can see that Tally actually having a fine time in this top lane. In fact, even though he's getting pushed in slightly, is pretty even in CS. In fact, maybe even ahead. And HP-wise is trading great.
Does start to swing slightly in Renix's favor. You can see there once he is able to get that damage down, and now that the sweep doesn't heal you back up on minions, only champion hits, but Lee Sin, he's coming in. Juves is just fast point over though. It's a 2-on-2 top side and Flares is low. Tally gonna be taken down. Juves picks up first blood, and now Carbon is in trouble. Incredibly low, slices in, dices out, and that's a double kill for Sin in the top lane.
How many times are we gonna see this fish overcommitment onto a gank when a top laner is low, and Juves and Flares make the team pay? It's not a double kill, but he still has the buffs. And the Renekton is definitely going to be comfortable in the lane now.
He certainly is. 1-0-1, forcing the teleport out of Tally as well. Mid lane, Ryoma is up in a level, up about 7 CS as well. And bottom lane is constantly shoving for Sin. But we'll take a look at that fight again at the top side of the map.
Yeah, and Tally's just fighting inside of creeps. And you can see that Carbon went for the flash E, but then really couldn't weave the attack. And then Slice and Dice just does so much damage on the way back. You know, I'm going to say it's a nervous play. I feel like I keep criticizing this top lane priority people are putting onto Flares, because I feel like if you are the Camille, you can just afford to farm that lane out. However, Claire taking a lot of damage.
He's
he might
in
be
trouble.
dead.
Juice just needs to jump around the side and pick up a kill. Cocoon, he gets it! Just throws out the Q as well as an auto attack, and that's an easy kill for Sin.
Yeah, and all of a sudden red buff. Whoa.
That is dangerous to deal with.
And Tally's going Q-Max, so actually sticking to really the aggressive lane priority here, not going for anything really defensive.
Flares just looks very comfortable on the top side of the map for Sin at the moment. Good trades in the bottom lane, but as we were mentioning, like the gank top side of the map, Flares was very calm and collected, flashing away from Carbon, so he had minions to block the Q. And that's been every single top side gank attempt for Sin so far. Very calm and collected. Lost though, taking quite a bit of damage in the bottom lane. FBI and Rogue working incredibly well as a duo at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. Although you have to say that if you're an Ezreal into Caitlyn and you're actually up in CS, credit to Lost and Cupcake. One of the better duos in the OPL at the moment, according to Egypt, the best. Although you have to put King and Destiny up there at the moment, and FBI and Rogue certainly making a case for himself, although Fate's taking that one's going to hurt.
Ignite's ticking as well. Lost is going to be forced out of this lane at the very least. And FBI and Rogue will continue their advantage bottom side of the map. Not a huge CS advantage, but slight experience advantage now that will push into the turret.
And I feel like, I don't know, is it a Cologne or something? Rogue just wears something that attracts people to try and walk into him. And then he puts out so much damage. Ooh.
Wow, Ryoma just went for it there. Claire was forced to duck in away, still trying to go for the trades, dodging out lots of the basic skill shots from Ryoma.
That was actually really well played from Claire. He got even some return damage, had level 6 at a disadvantage, was able to dodge out of the stun, as well as, you know, having Ignite expended against him. So as long as he gets level 6 on this wave, should be okay. Oh!
Doesn't get the stun, but does get a knockback. Will take the W back towards his turret. And Ryoma's just going to continue pushing. No level 6 for LeBlanc means she doesn't have as much kill pressure mid lane.
Yeah, exactly right. You kind of need the 2 chains to be able to come out at this stage of the game. Juice backing on a ward, going to get caught.
Here comes Carbon, looking to try and get the gank on towards him. Big stun from Ryoma. Tally is low on mana, but they've locked him inside the cage. Tally almost gets taken down, and the flash will keep him safe.
Yeah, so in the end, Claire's able to dip across. Now 2-2 and 0. Didn't have to use ulti or ignite there, so Ryoma coming back to the lane, especially without a jungler and flash available. Going to have to be a little bit careful, you feel, Fish.
Oh, Claire taking so much damage.
Oh,
no ignite. Thunderlord's not going to tick. He's forced to back out. He might lose another wave of experience here due to that.
And yeah, stage jitters everywhere. That was another outright just face check of a... wasn't even a face check. He just walked head first into a full Cinder combo. That's such bizarre play coming out.
And we still see Juice making some very minor mistakes. Oh, that's a flash forward from Rogue, forcing Cupcake out. But recalling inside of the enemy's jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, you can excuse him for not knowing he's on top of a ward. That's a little bit difficult to track, but you just don't do that sometimes.
Exactly right.
It's very greedy.
You don't want to give Carbon any form of confidence going into best of 5s either. We call Juves a confidence player, but Carbon is kind of the original confidence player. When his back is up, when he feels like he can, you know, get ahead in his lane matchup, can beat anyone in the OPL. Also has shown the opposite as well when he's playing nervous. Does not look good at all. Juves down here.
Throws a Cocoon out, doesn't land with a Cupcake, who just W's himself up and gets back to safety. Lee Sin is walking down here.
Oh, face check.
That's
level 6.
Dangerous.
Oh,
he
missed.
avoids it as Carbon not going to be able to tag him with the Q.
And that is why you kick first, ladies and gentlemen.
Kick first, ask questions later.
Yeah, could have ward hopped on top of him and just gone with it. Tally, bit of trouble.
Big
Maybe
damage
not.
Flares. There's a stun. Didn't use the second proc of the dice, but gets so much damage out. So confident on this Renekton.
Certainly is, and Tally's going to have to teleport back to the lane. There is absolutely no way he can afford to lose a cannon creep wave at this stage of the game. And Flares going with the aggressive rush of Tiamat into a fade.
Oh, he got him. Stop the recall. Tally will get a big shield. Dominus has been popped. No flash available for Flares, but will deny him another minion wave.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a big cooldown use there in the form of flash. Does deny him the creep wave, however. Now potentially Tally can call in a gank out of Carbon, who is still sitting bottom side of the map. Juves is also there.
Ryoma in trouble.
Got the chain.
Second chain comes out as well. Claire going to back up. Lost though, looking for a kill bottom side of the map. Rogue's been able to take down Carbon. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, Carbon came in from behind, and as I said, Juves was just waiting there for him. So absolutely nothing they could do about it. Really well spotted, and now you can see that the big lane swap potentially coming in. Duo lane for Legacy is just running mid.
Yep. Lost in Cupcake and look to try and help out Claire with pushing this turret in. Ryoma doesn't have blue buff, but full mana, half HP. Still has to be very careful. Stuns no one, but scatters the wave about.
Juves is here as well.
We'll be able to clear this wave out nicely. Arc can shift over the wall to get Ezreal back to safety.
I mean, that's a cute rotation, but in the end it gives absolutely nothing.
Ooh.
Carbon, ward hop, yeah. They wanted to call in Tally as well. They thought that was the play that they were looking for, but Juves was just there, had read it.
Gets a great Cocoon as well. Clutch Cocoon. Top side of Matt, Tally's doing just fine, even though Flares is up and ahead. He's not dominating this lane though. We won't see that for some time as Camille. Renekton is incredibly strong, nice and early.
If anything, you kind of expected Renekton to be a little bit more dominant. When you pick up a kill and red buff, as well as just force him off, or potentially looking for a kill as I'm saying that.
He's 2 levels behind though, so Tally has been forced off a lot of
He's
farm.
about to ding over. I mean, it really is only 1 level because that is a big cannon creep wave.
Carbon knows he can't just jump in here. Dominus is available. Juice looking for a gank. They stun up Tally. Cupcake's here. Trying to tag up the Spider. Repel comes out, gets him back to safety. Just pops on back down with FBI and Rogue up here. That's another 3 turret for Sin.
Another great macro play out of Sin. And I mean, let's just go back to it. This is a team that we're saying they should not be the favorites coming into this game. And all of a sudden, they're 4,000 gold up at 11 minutes, and deja vu across the board.
Claire, though, is able to dodge out a combo from Roma, locks him down with chains, dodges out the next Dark Sphere, as well as the W from Syndra. Happy feat of Claire here today. Still able to dodge abilities, but not able to make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly right. So he's getting good chip damage every single time, but never really over-committing for the kill. And that's 2 turrets falling down. I don't even think Lost gets bottom turret, to be honest, Fizz.
Wow.
Fish.
They're going to try. Renekton is trying to hold off that wave, and the rest of Legacy are barreling down towards bot lane. FBI and Rogue are just going to continue pushing with Juice. They're going in towards the inhibitor.
And Flares has actually spotted out Carbon here and wants it.
Oh, that's a one-on-one in the mid lane. Claire flashes the Q. W's going to deal some damage, and the cannon minion's just too much for him. Another one-on-one trade. And look at this. Sinner in Legacy's base. This is 12 minutes in.
Sin have got 3 turrets, and they're potentially going to get an inhibitor because no one is backing.
Oh, Tally's in trouble. Locked down. Ultimate comes out. The sniper shoots a bullet and picks up a kill. Sin are going to be able to take down an inhibitor. And Flares actually stops the turret? What is this? Legacy can't even get that turret yet. Carbon almost dies to turret aggro. A 12-minute inhibitor? Is this Sin?
Sin is absolutely destroying Legacy around the map. Sure, Claire goes for the aggressive play, but Ryoma's up to it, at least trades 1 for 1. Doesn't even burn the second summoner spell, and they get 3 turrets for 1.
What is going on?
At this stage of the game, I mean, who can actually deal with super creeps?
Oof. Going to be a difficult task. Tally's going to be at least stuck in his base. That split push threat that Camille has is nullified for at least another 12 minutes.
I mean, it's gone for nearly ever now. He's just so far behind. They're going to be able to chip away turrets. And we keep saying this, like, compositions aside, like, how much better is Camille than Renekton late game? Well, right now, it needs to be at least, like, 2,000 gold, because that's what Renekton is up, so half an item. Don't think it is. And that's with Flares conservatively, like, not getting any further ahead, which he will because he's going to be able to rotate around the map freely, while Tally is just stuck there doing absolutely nothing.
Well, let's check in with the gold, shall we? It's 1,300 in favor of Flares. Now 400 with that turret falling. In the jungle, Juice is down in CS, but he's 1,000 up over Carbon. Mid lane, 1,003 for Ryoma. And FBI about the exact same lead ahead of Lost. Sin have advantages across the map at the moment.
They certainly do, and their composition, you know, we said it comes online at 2 items. Syndra, Lost.
Gets stuck in the animation, but Ryman not quick enough to the trigger to lock him down. FBI will continue chipping away at turrets, and Sin saying, let's go bottom. Flares has prepped the minion wave for us. Oh, Dominus being popped. He wants to go in. Flare will dash back out, pops the ultimate though, so that's a big cooldown being used, and Sin pile in towards the bottom lane inner turret. No Camille available. Flares is at half health. The Legacy can't defend this turret.
I mean, they can do absolutely nothing. As I said, they can't push the super creep wave out enough to get Tally involved in any form of the fight. In fact, he's losing HP trying to knock these down, and he's had to go Tiamat early. Is part of the Camille build.
Ouch. Ouch. That super minion hurts.
Yeah, don't know whether he would have wanted it before the Trinity Force. Maybe he did to try and match what Flares was bringing, but regardless, no choice. And
Infernal Dragon is picked up here by Sin. Sin are looking on fire to start this match against Legacy.
And I mean, it all started in the exact same place. They went top lane, 2 for nothing. Sin are just consistently able to counter gank that side of the map and come up the goods. And you know, if it's not Flares by himself, it's the fact that he's got Juves in his back pocket. Ryoma trading with Claire in what was a very confident matchup for Soul Strikes. I think he really needs to reevaluate the strength of his players, because Sin, they're coming in hot. I mean, they are so psyched for this match. Everyone's seen Juves' videos. Yes. I mean, they're getting as many views as the OPL right now. He does not feel like he is going to lose.
He does not. He's a very confident man, Juves. You see Legacy trying to do what they can to defend their mid lane in a turret. And the evolution of Sin is fantastic to watch, because historically when they had Rymeister, it was the Juves Rymeister show. Juves is in his back pocket. He will lose out in the jungle in terms of CS, fall down a bit in gold, make sure Rymeister pops off. Then we saw Flares and Ryoma join the team. We're like, oh, Juves can sit in one of their back pockets and have a winning point on the map. but it just seems like everywhere else just does fine for Sin if Juice can't help them out. Flares is getting Juice help, getting so far ahead. Rhymer's going one-on-one against Claire. Rogue and FBI look so comfortable in the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, they certainly do. And the biggest thing for me is their rookies just haven't looked like rookies during this playoff. Now they're finally collapsing to Flares. He will fall down.
Yep, be taken down top side of the map. But do Legacy lose a turret for this? It seems like they will. Mid lane Inner is going to fall. And turret is incredibly low. Legacy do muster a defense in time, so they'll delay the inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going down in the next couple of minutes. So mission accomplished if you are Sin. You don't shop with the gold right now, but you're going to get it eventually. And you can just see that this is a very...
Ryoma's caught him, doesn't get the stun, but the ultimate goes out, and Claire Ignite is sticking the final auto attacks enough, and Ryoma pulls a play from the Tainted Minds book, hides in a brush, picks up a kill.
Yeah, and that's just really nice play because he knows that Claire wants to push it out as far as possible because they need to get some minion waves in their favor. Instead, picks up a kill. Now Teleport going to come into the base. Telly can't join because he's still looking after Super Creep.
Teleport onto a minion, taking up the turret. Sin looking to try and burst this down. They get it nice and early. 2 inhibitors, 17 minutes into the game. Inhibitor already being piled in on. And Rogue is on split push duty. The Zyra is looking to push mid lane while Sin break the base of Legacy for the second time in this game.
And this is a final second versus third now. And Sin, the underdogs again, are absolutely styling on Legacy. 7,000 gold, all but 4 turrets down. Make it 3. They're just absolutely annihilating them.
They can't even take Baron yet. That's how early into the game this is between Sin and Legacy. There's a Rift Herald sitting on the map, but Sin are like, we can take inhibitors and turrets. Why do we need this guy? He doesn't help.
Skips leg stay all the time. All he has is a big back.
Well, one man that doesn't skip leg day is Tally, but that's not helping him against the super minions right now. He's having a tough time. Seems like it's almost harder than taking on Flares at the moment.
Yeah, well, as I said, Super Creeps at this stage of the game, they absolutely slap. Oof. They don't pull punches. And you can see, actually, they are going to maybe ping out the Rift Herald right now. Wouldn't be bad to pick it up. I mean, 20 minutes of continued pressure if something goes real wrong.
I mean, it's great, but it's super effective when it's in split push duty.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to split push. There's 1 turret left spawn.
I mean, there's nothing left, really.
7.
Carbon hasn't been in his jungle this whole game.
7,000 gold lead for Sin with an Infernal Dragon. 8 turrets to 1. Legacy just look off in this game.
And somehow they just keep doing it. This is blue side Sin. This isn't even their final form.
Nah, not on red side yet. Next game.
And you can see Lost actually just can't even kill the Super Creeps at the moment.
Legacy looking for a dive. Tally gets interrupted by Rogue. Double knockup comes in. Sensei, we can fight this one. Legacy already on full retreat. They know they stuffed up that fight. And Sin looking to take down an inhibitor for themselves.
This is what we talk about. I mean, it's just the Zyra. She's so good at stopping people diving in. It's why you don't really want to play Rengar into it. Because if she gets down a couple of plants, if she gets down that ultimate, it's so much damage. Claire can't approach Ryoma. He just kills him at the moment. It's going to be the inhibitor falling for a second time on the top side of the map.
Yep, Sin pick it up. Ryoma's already prepped the mid lane inhibitor turret by gaining some chip damage on it. Sin should just walk up to this and take down all 3 inhibitors. Sub 20 minutes.
Legacy's base is in shambles. I mean, the good news story is...
Claire looking to try and jump in, flashes over the wall, doesn't connect with the chains, and ultimate from Ryoma deletes him from Summoner's Rift. It's now 4-on-5, double stun from Ryoma. Carbon and Tally forced to flash away. The inhibitor is taking a beating. Jews will be stunned up by a bit of damage, but that's all 3 inhibitors broken. 19 minutes, 50 seconds into the match, and Legacy have nothing left in their base to defend.
Glass half full. They now have 2 waves of Super Creeps that they can farm.
3.
Glass half empty. Yeah, 3. Sorry, I meant 2 Super Creeps in each wave. Glass half empty. It's 20 minutes into the game, and they're being absolutely destroyed.
That's a shellacking here, Spawn. 9,000 gold.
I don't know if there's a word for this.
Infinity Edge and Hurricane already picked up by FBI.
Yeah, no power trough this game. I don't care who you play. You be playing Sonar AD carry at the moment. You're this far ahead. You're going to be useful.
Can Legacy stall out? I mean, Sin can just walk towards Baron and try to fight them in the open with 6 super minions destroying the base.
I mean, I've seen stranger things. Maybe Carbon just sneaks a Baron for himself. They can't push in. Sin continually lose out on farm because really you can't farm anything with 3 super creeps pushing into the base at this stage of the game. You're just going to be standing around. I mean, there's always a potential for a comeback. Is it going to happen? Highly unlikely.
I've already mentioned Sin are a momentum-based team. Taking this into game 2, whew. Tough task. And if you're Legacy, you definitely have to be thinking about not only game 2, but the rest of the series.
Oh, yeah, you stopped talking about this game a while ago if you're Legacy. I mean, it's a best of 5. This game, you know, you haven't been in a best of 5 format. 3 of your players, all Carbon's in trouble.
Take quite a bit of damage, forced back. Double super minions, 4 super minions already on the Nexus here. First Nexus turret is going to fall nice and easy for Sin. Everything's just piling on in. Legacy try to go for one last stand. Tally locks down FBI. A shutdown comes out from Claire. Lost will fall. And even though they looked like they were going to put up a good fight there, there's just too many minions to deal with. And Sin, they've done it again. They pick up game 1 in this best of 5 series.
And look at Juice. He's like, yep, just a standard day in the office. Went in, picked up a 22-minute victory. Absolutely destroyed Carbon. Got the counter gank on the top side of the map. I've done this all before. I've done this 2 days in a row.
And Sin looking confident, looking settled. No longer the happiness, the jumping up and down after picking up a single victory there. No, guys, we should be used to this by now. We're starting to pick up wins here and there.
And you can tell that Legacy, I mean, this is their first match in the Gauntlet. Just weren't used to that intensity. Because you could see as soon as Juves and Flares had any kind of advantage, they were just pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. This is playoff League of Legends. And you could tell that, unfortunately, just slightly on the back foot. What is normally a small mistake that, you know, you can just be like, don't worry, guys, it puts us 5 minutes behind. We'll farm this one out. All of a sudden, they're knocking at your doors. And big macro errors is the biggest takeaway from this game. Legacy, macro-wise, looked really abysmal.
Huge macro errors. I mean, Sin, to get advantage top lane, but then they pushed down 3 turrets in the space of a couple of minutes.
They had a 12-minute inhibitor. That shouldn't happen, no matter how far behind you are.
Yeah, and there was an absolute shellacking for Sin there as they take down Legacy.
Stop stealing my damn words and throw it to the analyst desk.
Well, let's throw it straight back to the analyst desk so Swan doesn't hear me anymore.
Is that over? Is that already done? What?
Well, there we have it. Sin have taken that first game very quickly from Legacy. And, gentlemen, what happened? That's crazy.
I don't know what to describe that. Jish was saying upstairs that that's one of those scrims that, like, you just FF at, like, 10 minutes. You're like, okay, let's go next.
Yeah,
like,
this is wasting our time.
Yeah, this isn't going to happen on stage. But then, like, look, this just happened on stage, yeah.
So let's talk about this. Because going into this, EGM, you're the only one who said, look, Sin take first game.
Oh, this is
But
coming
did
true.
you expect it? Yeah, did you expect it them to take first game in what, like 22 minutes or whatever it was?
Like, no, absolutely not. Like,
Right.
you don't expect that. Honestly, if you're Legacy, you watch our series with Sin yesterday, and then, like, Carbon said he wanted to play the Chiefs, but I think he would have rather play Sin than us, like, in the Gauntlet, right? I'm just going to claim that.
Sure.
Like, pull that out, whatever. But I think they're going to be shitting their pants right now.
Right.
Like, honestly, coming into this series, they're not expecting to lose like they did. They would like we did. They're looking at us laughing that we lost to Sin, and now, like, that just happened. They've lost to them twice already in the regular split. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think I sort of had this like idea that momentum doesn't exist, but maybe I'm eating my words a little bit. Yeah, Sin looked really, really good coming into this game, and I think you could definitely give it to like Legacy. You know, slow start, haven't played 10 games in the last 2 days like their counterparts have, but I think maybe Bryce's prediction on that, you know, the first game and then they sort of regroup, come back a little bit. Definitely not the 3-0 I said it would be, but
Well,
yeah,
mathematically impossible now. Sure.
yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to... I mean, and Legacy will have a few games to regroup. Like I said, they're going to be dragged kicking and screaming to that Game 5 series. But the big thing about it here is that Dark Horse X factor. And we just saw it in that game there. Just for some reason, they have this ability to just baffle, frustrate, fluffle teams, whatever you want to call it. Fluffle seems to be the case.
Not a word.
We're making it a word just for Sin. And to be honest, it's just... Like, that's what you did not expect that. Even I didn't expect that, and I said they're going to be winning this series. So
let's take a look at this draft, because obviously Legacy were able to watch 10 games versus Sin right now, right? And they've banned the Thresh, they banned they banned the Fizz, obviously.
Yeah.
They banned the Rumble, which has kind of been a pretty priority ban as well. So they've obviously learned and they've been observing, but why didn't it work? Jesh, let me start with you. You've done a number of drafts in your time.
Yeah.
Did Legacy, could they have
one or
improved
two
their
of
draft
them.
at all?
Yeah, I think Legacy's draft, especially for a team that you could argue is coming in cold, is probably a little bit optimistic in how they sort of drafted for the late game. They didn't really have any insurance policy. Me and Ejim were saying how they had no wave clear. And when you look at like the Sin comp where they're playing like these really early ganking jungler, lane bullies in Syndra and Renekton, if you get behind in that, I don't really see like where's your avenue to get back into this game? Like, you need to be like 25 minutes to get your 1-3-1 going, and they've just got no wave clear or like any sort of insurance policy.
Yeah.
I mean, 12-minute inhib and you have no wave clear. Like, basically what happened, they just like took everything on the map. Like, they couldn't really do anything. Yeah, I don't like Tommy Syndra, Ryomer Syndra. Yesterday, like, we didn't really think much of it coming to the series, and then we banned it the entire time because he just roasted us 2 games in a row. And he just did the same to Claire in the 1v1. Like, I really respect Claire's LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Looked like he was a bit nervous on stage, I think, a few misplays, but he just got, like, solo killed. He got ganked, and, yeah, like, basically all the lanes just lost. And then Juves just ran around counter-ganking Carbon, like, at every turn. Like, top lane, Carbon, like, walks around the corner just as Juve bops over the wall with the plant, like, cocoons him, they die. Bot lane, actually, I don't know who placed the ward in the bot tri-bush, but as Carbon was coming down for a gank, they saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Juve's had so much time to just walk into the lane, literally sit in the lane as Carbon walked around the corner and just dies. And they got TP for it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we also have to look at this bot lane in terms of they had the Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn typically has that power trough throughout the mid game, but when there is no mid game, she's looking great.
I mean, 17 turrets worth of gold.
Exactly. It was just ridiculous how she was able to push that first turret down. And then Caitlyn's great at sieging. And if it's still the early game, she was more than happy to sit there just auto-attacking the turrets, playing PvE the entire time. And that's exactly what happened. And Legacy just let it happen. I think one of the discussions was, Legacy tried to make a play in the bot lane, completely forgot about top lane, and that was the game over pretty much from there and then.
Well, speaking of top lane, this top lane team fight, Mendrix, that I know you want to talk about, is...
Is it a team fight?
Well, it's a team fight. It's a turret fight.
It's a turret
fight. Turrets. Let's take a look at it because it's an early inhib.
I mean, it just shouldn't be happening. That's the big thing that I want to take into account here. I mean, they're just there having a time of their life. Like, Legacy's thinking, we can make a move here. Tally's doing whatever he can to, like, slow it down, but momentum is clearly in Sin's favor. They can't even get the turret here because Flares, he's a monster, and he managed to hold on for quite some time. And really, this is completely worth for them to be trying to trade the bot lane for an inhibitor. I mean, this is the outer turret for the inhibitor. Just should not be happening.
If you're Legacy, what are you thinking at this point? Because you should have backed, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those greedy things where they were obviously looking to trade. They were behind in the tempo because of the early gank top, and they took the top turret. Sin's bot lane had priority, so they reset and went top and just pushed all the way through, right? And it's kind of... Legacy need to just acknowledge that they were losing the trade, and they just need to back and not disastrously lose an inhib at 12 minutes. Like, they were just like looking for the trade bot side, and then Flares played it well, denied enough of the wave for them to not even get the turret. They lose an inhib.
Yeah, I'd say as Legacy, you can sort of afford to play a slower early game because you know you have like that scaling. If you lose your outer turrets, then you can hold the inners a bit safer. Once they get cracked open and they have that inhib down, then there's way too much pressure for them to snowball or turtle the game out. Turtle the game out at all from against the snowball. So,
and it does come down to the draft as well. I mean, if you look at what Sin have, they've got 3 priority lanes. You've got a Renekton, and that typically does outpush the Camille. You've got a Caitlyn and a Zyra. They're going to outpush the bot lane. Syndra, definitely going to outpush LeBlanc as well. In terms of what LeBlanc does, she's really good at moving around the map, making stuff happen there. So you're more than happy to slow the game down, take it late, because you will outscale. And they just didn't do that. They tried to play Sin's game, and it fell flat.
So just tell me about the mentality after you lose an inhib at 12 minutes. I don't know if you've ever coached a team that's had that happen to them. Maybe not, but...
that's probably happened to you and me a couple of times.
Look, at that point, like, are you saying... are the team saying themselves, all right, this is done, let's just move on? Or is there a mentality where you just try and stall it out? Because you were telling me that the lane is then naturally pushing and you lose a lot of farm as the aggressive team.
Yeah, so obviously it's... Even if you're getting more farm, like it's still not ideal to not have an inhibitor. But I think that, so like you're using that time, I think, as Jake mentioned on the cast, you're sort of focusing on next game.
Yeah.
But more importantly, like you're in a best of 5 in like a gauntlet playoff sort of situation. No one's like typing /FF. Like everyone's still working out how do they win this game. Like what's the next thing to come back in this. And if that's going to be that they can try funnel more farm onto Tally and hold the other outers, then maybe that's a 1 in 10 chance, a 1 in 20 chance of coming back and winning. But that's obviously what they're playing for.
All right. Well, these are both teams who kind of play, whose wins and losses are kind of defined by whether or not their junglers pop off, right? I mean, I don't know that's kind of like a truism because that is kind of how the game formats, but certainly these are both teams that are led by their junglers. So I want to take a look at Juves' stats for that game because he's obviously not feeding. Which is how how Sid lose games, right? It's when Juves decides to go, 1-8 or whatever he did, 1-10 or whatever he did yesterday.
He just makes the decision to be like, I'm going to go 1-8 this game,
So what happened this game with Juves, Ejin? Tell me about how he played.
I mean, he just had Carbon's number, I think. But like he counter ganked him twice, like in the side lanes. We talked about it earlier. He was just like the perfect time. He bopped over the wall top lane, and Flares, like what happened in some of the other series, like they get an early double kill on the top lane, and then they just use that advantage and they snowball it very well. And then happened in the bot lane, just waited for him to walk around the corner, and yeah, it was just there. Like he wasn't farming as much as Carbon, but like he
had really low CS, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of what typifies Juves' playstyle is that he doesn't jungle, he just ganks. And it's like there's a big discrepancy in the two, right? Like a lot of good junglers, they'll path between like camp to camp to camp to gank, and Juves is sort of like, oh, I can be in this lane and help facilitate that. And, you know, it's not maybe the most like...
Optimal?
It's, I was going to say intelligent, but like I don't want to really like hurt his feelings. It's like... It's not the best playstyle, I think, but obviously, like, Sin are making it work. Like, they made it work against Chiefs, they made it work against Avant, and it's starting to look pretty...
You don't need to point to him.
Like, just in case you forgot.
Well, like, look at that goal per minute as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really high because just towers are falling. And if it's because you've got the lane pressure, it's because you've made it work for your team. You don't need to get the camps if that's how much gold you're just coming in naturally by taking objectives. And really, if you have to look at it, his damage wasn't that high for the team. Everything was about enabling them, and he really made that work. And I think you were discussing the choice of his item build as well, in terms of he went for Talisman instead of going for Machete. And that might have played a role in him sort of saying, you know what, I want to have mana, so I'm ready for the ganks, rather than just sitting down and farming my jungle.
No, it's the opposite. If you go Machete, you just want to run, you get your Mobi's first buy, and then you're not using any mana on the camps or anything. You're just running straight into lanes and throwing out the cocoons.
So an interesting stat is that Carbon had almost double the neutral CS that Juves did in that game, right? So it's 86 to 40 something, 43 or something. So yeah,
sounds like maths.
44. So I'm getting these numbers fed to me live. But I want to ask, like, does everyone know that that's how Juves plays? And if so, like, how do you punish it? Because if that's not optimal play, then what do you do to punish it, right? Then you try and get your jungler fed on CS, then I assume.
It sounds kind of like irrelevant to say, but like if you don't die, like it's really risky. If he doesn't do his camps and he gets into a lane, looks for a gank and it doesn't work, then Carbon just takes 2 camps, walks into his bot side jungle and takes his camps, and then Juves has nothing to do.
Right. So just farm under towers. That's what you say.
Well, no. You just have I don't know. You just have to respect the ganks more. Like you can't just seed pressure. Dying to ganks is inevitable sometimes. Like for a large portion of the game, Juves' top side, Carbon can't just tell Tally, oh, just sit under your turret and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like. He will just, like, you will lose the game. Tally will be literally irrelevant. He has to, like, be in XP range and actually farm, right?
Okay.
So, like, you're going to die to some ganks, but over the course of, like, a best-of-5 series, if Juves keeps playing like this and Legacy see what he's doing and they start playing safer as the series goes on, if he doesn't get these ganks off, like, even in this game where Legacy just got absolutely stomped, Carbon had double his CS.
All right.
And Juve said it himself, though. Like, typically, you see them being strong laners. They like to push out. That never happened this game, but they still managed to find the ganks because Juve says Legacy have gankable lanes. I love it when I play against Legacy because I know they're going to be pushing in and just makes it an optimal ability for me to gank. So it is, I guess, comes to the idea that it works in their playstyle. Maybe come down again to the fact that Sin just happened to be the kryptonite for Legacy.
Stop saying that. Because that suggests that Legacy was born on a planet made of sin. That doesn't even make... Anyway, look, it's not important. What?
No. We're getting too religious
No,
now.
because isn't that the...
Oh, no.
It's just Superman's... Look, I don't want to go too deep into the lore.
Okay.
Don't correct me.
That took a while.
Don't correct me. I'm done with this. All right, guys, let's talk about what Legacy can take out of this game. Because obviously, you get stumped like that, you don't feel good. But were there any positives, EGM, for them? Nope. All right, Jish, thoughts?
Okay, so I think if you're honest with yourself, especially if you're Carbon, knowing that Juves is going to play the ganking style, I want to see Carbon, if he can get the Graves, definitely. Otherwise, move towards like a Kha'Zix, Rengar, something that's going to scale and doesn't need to match in ganking. Because as Bryce was saying, if he's getting triple his CS, then he'll be like level 11 hitting when Juves is hitting level 8.
Yeah.
And if there's not already lacking inhibitor in the top lane, then you know, like team fighting wise, the Kha'Zix or the Graves are going to do so much more.
All right, then, EGM, let me ask you then, are there negatives from Sin's game that moving forward they need to shore up?
It's just the risky style.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Sin kind of epitomized the risky style, and they talk about it. Juves talks about it in his interview. So they've kind of just committed to it, and it worked out this game, right?
Yeah.
So they're just going to keep doing it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
All right, Mendrix, any closing thoughts?
It's really hard to sort of say, like, take away, you know, what is bad, what is good from that there, because it's just an such an outlier of a game.
Right.
And when those sort of things happen, you kind of go, let's just move on to the next one. Because, to be honest, for Sin, they knew it was pretty much over when they got that inhibitor. And then it would have been the same for Legacy. Legacy, like, okay, we should be moving forward, I think, like you guys were saying, just scrim style.
All right, well, we'll see if Legacy decide to ban out Ryoma's Syndra in the mid lane, and if they maybe let Flares get his hands on that Fizz or even the Rumble. But to get us into Game 2, let's check out some highlights, and we'll be back after this.
But mid lane, again, Ryoma and Claire going at it. There is Ignite ticking, the flash forward, first blood by Ryoma, but they trade back and forth. It's a 2-on-2 top side, and Flares is low. Tally gonna be taken down. Juice picks up first blood, and now Carbon is in trouble. Incredibly low, Slicer's in, Dicer's out, and that's a double kill for Sin in the top lane. Oh, that's a 1-on-1 in the mid lane. Claire flashes the Q. W's going to deal some damage, and the cannon minion's just too much for him. Another 1-on-1 trade. And look at this. Sinner in Legacy's base. This is 12 minutes in. Oh, Tally's in trouble. Locked down. Ultimate comes out. The sniper shoots a bullet and picks up a kill. Sin are going to be able to take down an inhibitor. And Flares actually stops the turret. What is this? Legacy can't even get that turret yet. Carbon almost dies to turret aggro. A 12-minute inhibitor? Is this Sin? Teleport onto a minion, tanking up the turret. Sin looking to try and burst this down. They get it nice and early. 2 inhibitors, 17 minutes into the game. Inhibitor already being piled in on. And Rogue is on split push duty. The Zyra is looking to push mid lane while Sin break the base of Legacy for the second time in this game.
It's going to be the inhibitor falling for a second time on the top side of the map.
Yep, Sin pick it up. Claire looking to try and jump in, flashes over the wall, doesn't connect with the chains, and Ultimate from Ryoma deletes him from Summoner's Rift. It's now 4-on-5, double stun from Ryoma. Carbon and Tally forced to flash away. The inhibitor is taking a beating. Juice will be stunned up by a bit of damage, but that's all 3 inhibitors broken. Double super minions, 4 super minions already on the Nexus here. First Nexus turret is going to fall nice and easy for Sin. Everything's just piling on in. Legacy try to go for one last stand. Tally locks down FBI. A shutdown comes out from Claire. Lost will fall. And even though they looked like they were going to put up a good fight there, there's just too many minions to deal with. And Sin, they've done it again. They pick up game 1 of this best of 5 series.